welcome to March. It is March 2nd. I'm still in beautiful Tulum, and I have actually decided to stay longer. Yay! So excited about that. And as we're heading into the third month of the year, I was thinking about what I wanted to come on and chat with you about, what I wanted to dive into. And something that has really been calling me to talk about is the importance of going back to basics, the importance of actually looking at two really key pieces again and again, and making sure that your marketing, your messaging, your offers is aligned with those two things, because I believe that they are so important and so powerful and so key to your ability to actually take action and create the desired results that you want in your business. And there certainly have been basics that can be incredibly painful, that some of you might be like, oh, I've got this, or I know this. But honestly, on the path to mastery, and I'm going to dive into that on another episode of Diaries of a Six-Figure Coach, is that really you never stop learning. You never stop learning. And at the end of each month, I complete a reflection practice. And whenever I finish my months, I look back and I look at what worked and what didn't work. And I reflect and I draw out the lessons so I can plan with hindsight in mind. And there's so much clarity that's coming in. But the two foundational basics, the two things that I really want to highlight to you today that are so key and so important and so vital to keep coming back to and just checking in with, that you're moving in alignment with them and clear on them, is who do you serve and what problem do you solve? Who do you serve and what problem do you solve? And I know some of you are on this channel, you're ready to scale to 6 and multi-six figures. And you might think, I already know this. And that's cool. I also know who I'm serving and what problem that I solve. But by continuously bringing the focus back to that, we're actually able to make sure that we're moving forward with clarity, and we can be getting more direct. We can be getting more specific with our messaging. We can refine how and who we're talking to. We can get just a little more juicy to the heart and core of it. Like, we can be really zoning in to get laser focused on calling in these people, these ideal clients for us, and solving the problem by becoming known for the one thing that you want to become known for. So who do you serve and what problem do you solve? And I've been talking about that on my social media. I've been talking about it with my clients, because this often becomes a bottleneck. We so easily become wishy-washy with that. So let's talk about who you serve it. Let's stop there and dive into that for a moment here, because again, oftentimes when I ask new clients, or when I ask people, so who do you serve? Who's your ideal client? I get a 5 to 10 minute answer of who they're serving. And now you might think, oh, that's brilliant. There's so much detail about your ideal client. But here's the thing. If it takes you 5 minutes or more to explain who your ideal client is, do you really believe that you can communicate well to them? Is it really clear? Is a 5-minute answer of who you're serving clear about who you're serving, or is it a washed out version? Is it a washed out version? Deep. I want you to go deep. I want you to be precise. I want you to be able to answer that in a very simple way. Who do you serve? Who is your ideal client? One short, precise answer. My ideal clients are 5-figure, service-based female entrepreneurs and coaches. 5-figure, service-based female entrepreneurs and coaches. That's it. Who do I serve? That is who I serve. Those are my ideal clients. Clients that are already earning some income, but they're ready to scale. They're ready to scale to 6 or to multi-six figures. They're ready to go from $50,000 to $100,000 or from $80,000 to $160,000. They're ready to scale. They're 5-figure entrepreneurs, service-based. They're offering some sort of a service that they're doing. It's very, very specific. Very specific. So who do you serve? I want you to really look at that. Really look at that. Write it down. Write it down. And the next thing you can do is, and I just did that for myself, looking at what worked and what didn't in February, I was like, okay, who do I serve? And what's the main problem that I want to be known for? And I asked myself those questions, and I got clear on what it is. I just shared it with you. The problem that I solve is helping these clients scale to 6 or multi-six figures with strategic ease, with freedom to play. And there's all sorts of little problems that I solve within that, but I'm a scaling expert. I help you scale. I help you get to that 6 figures. That is what I help you do with strategy. And also with some mindset coaching and energetics and all those beautiful things, because I believe in the feminine and masculine working together beautifully. But the main thing that I desire to be known for, that I desire to be known for as an expert, that I am an expert in, that I'm sought after in, is that beautiful, sexy strategy to help you get to 6 figures, to make strategy fun and expansive and help you see how it can set you free. So I got clear on who I'm serving and what problem I'm solving. I'm going to dive about the problem in a second a little bit more. And then I looked at my social media. I looked at my Instagram and I said to myself, is that clear? Is that clear, or could I make it clearer? Could I make a small refinement? And I did. I changed my bio like slightly, changing it up a little bit for the month. And also, I am getting more intentional with my content again. And I actually just committed to 365 days of Reels. I want to call it challenge. I committed to drop 1 reel a day for 365 days, started on 22/2/2023. Super excited about that. And I'm going to see what I learn from it. I want to learn from it. I'm approaching it as a learning perspective. So every day, for the next 365 days, I will be sharing a reel. And my intention is to share a reel that speaks to 5-figure service-based female entrepreneurs and coaches that are ready to scale to 6 or multi-six figures with strategic ease and having the freedom to play. That is what I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to be specific on that, and my content strategy will be backing that and making sure that my who and my what is very, very clear. So when you go on your social media within like a minute, I'm going to open my Instagram within. If you're on my YouTube, you can see this, but within the first little while, are you able to see? Like when you look at your name and what's behind it, like within the first 30 seconds, is it clear to you what you do? Is it clear? If you were your ideal client, would you look at your Instagram and say, oh, she is supporting someone like me? Or not? And if it's not, it's time to go back and refine it. It's time to go back to the basics. There is nothing ever wrong with going back to the basics. And no matter if you're scaling from 5 to 6, from 6 to multi-six, from 6 to 7 figures, from 7 to 8 figures, the basics will always be a requirement to get right. We don't ditch the basics when we scale. We just master the basics more and more and more. We just make it more potent, more refined, more clear, more powerful, more direct. And all the watery down BS goes away, which also helps us gain momentum. So who are you serving? And then what problem do you solve? Okay, let's talk about the problem a little bit. People always get like really hung up with the problem. And same thing, when you ask people, so what do you do for clients? People give these long answers. A lot of the times what people go into is actually their modality, the systems or the tools that they use to help people, rather than actually describing the result that they help people get, which is the problem that they're solving. Okay. And a problem can be anything fuzzy. It can be anything that is challenging for them to achieve. It can be something that is a pain point in their life, in their health, in their business. Can be something that is stopping them from achieving something, can be something that is you helping them achieve a goal, right? So a problem is really anything fuzzy. It doesn't always have to be something that has a negative undertone. Like, we don't always have to look at a problem as like dumpster diving or being like, who's laying in a muddy puddle and how do we describe the muddy puddle? That is not what it is. But what would you want to go is get to the core of, what is the problem that you're solving, and then framing that in a positive perspective, right? Like, I help 5-figure entrepreneurs scale to 6 figures. Scaling to 6 figures is a problem that I solve. Why is that a problem? Because recent studies, actually, I read an article that said 90% of female entrepreneurs don't ever reach 6 figures in their business. And I want to change that. I want to change that for sure. And when it comes to 7 figures, it gets really small, 1%. We've got work to do. We've got work to do. So this is a problem. This is a problem I see a lot, right? But the two things, one of the biggest bottlenecks that I see is that there's a lack of clarity on who do we serve and what problem do we solve? Because so many of us, we want to serve, we want to help everyone. We have this innate drive. I think especially like our feminine energy, the nurturing energy, we wanting to give, we wanting to support, we wanting to care, we wanting to nurture and to nourish and to just be there and to give so much of us. And we want to be all inclusive. We want to be having people know that they're taken care of in our world. And that's beautiful. But when you're trying to talk to everyone, solving everything, it won't land, because your people, your ideal soul clients can't self-identify because you're constantly talking to somebody else. They're not sure about specifically what to come to you for, because there's so many things that they're not really clear. And solving one main problem doesn't mean there's subcategories within it, but it's so key for you to know where is the red thread. I talk about a lot of different things. I talk about scalable business models. I talk about aligned business planning. I talk about sales strategies. I talk about launching. I talk about content. I talk about product suites. I talk about client paths and client experience. I talk about mindset, removing the resistance, showing up, creating discipline, creating habits and rituals to help you show up consistently. All of these things allow you to scale. All of those things are tools, systems, strategies, processes that we get to put in place, that we can work with, that we can tap in, that ultimately help us to scale to 6 figures and then multi 6 figures, and to stay there and to maintain it and to hold it and to love it and to build something that's sustainable success for us. So there's multiple different subcategories within that main thing that I'm known for. So you can be known for one main thing and have multiple different things that you are talking about that are all supporting that. So there is a red thread in your messaging. There is a clarity in the messaging on who you talk to and the main problem you solve. And then there's multiple things that you pull in. But throughout that, through all of your content, through all of your expression, through everything that you put out there, whether it's speaking, podcasting, content on your social media, the programs that you offer, networking, writing articles for public relations, like whatever it is that you do where you're expressing outwards, whenever somebody meets you, you have a consistent way that you can express who you work with and what problem you solve for them. And it always is the same. And we always bring it back to that. And that is how we take the watery bullshit out, refine, and really start to move forward with focus And that focus, this part of working on your business, this amount of getting intentional and focusing in and zooming in will allow you to really build and scale something bigger. So your ability to focus is a direct reflection for the ability of the results you're going to create in your business. I say this a lot. So focus gets us there. Focus gets us there. This is something that I come back to with my clients all the time. Yes, they're already making money. Yes, they're already working with clients. But when you're clear on these two things, everything else gets to fall into place. Everything else starts to become more simple. Everything else and all your expression and all the marketing and the selling and all your efforts that you do that are outwardly expressed become easier and more in flow and more natural, because you don't constantly have to think about, what am I trying to say again? Who am I talking to again? Who is this for again? And if you don't have complete clarity, if it takes you 10 minutes to describe this, it's going to land exactly like that on the other side. So think about that. Think about that. I invite you this week to go back to this basic. Go back to the basics. Go back to these two things. Get clear on it. Who do you serve? What problem do you solve? And then head to your socials and do a quick audit. Is it very clear right away within 30 seconds of looking at this, what I do? This is a wrap for the first episode of March. There's going to be some juice coming. I'm going to have some incredible guests coming onto the pod that I'm super, super excited about. And we're going to have a really, really great time as we're heading into spring. I'm going to be staying in Tulum longer. This is going to be fun. And then we'll see. I'm going to be heading back to Canada at some stage, and we'll see how things unfold. But in the meantime, I am on this train back to basics, back to showing up consistently, making sure we really focus on the refinement, moving with elegant focus. That's what I'm here for. And so March, I want us to focus a bit on the basics. I want to really get into that a little bit with all of us, to continue on the path that I started last week about slowing down. Let's slow down. Let's get clear. Let's get intentional so we can create epic momentum for the next 10 months and beyond of the year. There's so much to be had in 2023. I'm lit up by everything that's possible. And I know that by refining, by continuing to master the basics, by focusing and showing up with this intention, some really cool things are going to unfold for all of us. And that is what I'm here for. So stay tuned for more juice. Have the most amazing start to March. And I will talk with you all soon.